uncomfortable to talk about, but we have to talk about it. Workplace harassment and discrimination are very real issues that affect employees globally. In fact, a 2023 report by Gallup showed that nearly 30% of Nigerians have faced workplace violence and harassment. That's a figure higher than the global average. So what can we do about it? We talked to a senior program officer at the International Labour Organization, ILO, to discuss what organizations need to do to tackle this persistent problem. And here's what she had to say.
Convention 190, which is the Convention on Harassment and Violence in the Workplace, which I said has been ratified by Nigeria, has addressed all these components that you talked about. It talks about, it defines what is harassment, where and how it can happen, because sometimes workplace harassment might not take place in the confines that we define traditionally as a workplace. So it looks at it, even in the canteen, even in the clinic, even if my boss gives me a ride from the office to my home or picks me from somewhere, or even if you promise me a job and you know there is no job but it's just to take advantage of me, this convention has addressed it. And it talks about also how you need to put in structures on how to address. Like I talked about the issue of confidentiality. First of all, there has to be a mechanism of people to be able to report, because you do not address what you don't know. You need to know about it that is happening already. And even the convention talks about third party. That is, if I'm not directly involved, but I know it is happening, and I do not talk about it, then I'm as guilty as the party that is perpetuating the harassment. So that's why I said you need to put a structure in place. It can be a committee that people can report to. That's why I say, first of all, in some places, maybe you report to your manager. If your manager is the perpetrator, maybe you report to HR, and the HR reports escalate it until it gets to, once it's not solved, it gets to the appropriate, that committee. There has to be an investigation, because it's not because you said it that it happened. There has to be established fact. That's why I usually tell people, if you are being harassed, you also need to keep evidence of your harassment. Because not because you said it, I will believe it. You need to prove, because you are the one who is saying. So the onus is on you to prove that already the harassment or violence is taking place.
So that being said, what actually qualifies as harassment and discrimination in the workplace? It's more than just a physical violence issue. It can be verbal abuse, threats, discrimination based on gender, race, or other factors. And it doesn't always have to happen in the office. It can happen anywhere related to work, even outside the typical workspace. Now, based on our conversation with Mrs. Chinyere Emeka Anuna, here are some key steps to address workplace harassment. And organizations do need to step up and protect their employees. 1. Establish clear policies. So create and communicate clear anti-harassment and anti-discrimination policies. Ensure that all your employees are aware of these policies and the consequences of violations. 2. Confidential reporting mechanisms. You need to provide employees with a safe and confidential way to report harassment. No one should feel afraid of retaliation for speaking up. 3. Enforce accountability. Now, implement strict measures to hold perpetrators accountable no matter their position. Everyone should be treated equally under the organization's policy and investigations. Investigations should also be conducted discreetly to protect the dignity of all involved. Now, workplace harassment and discrimination don't just harm individuals. They harm the entire work environment. It's time for organizations to take these issues seriously by creating safe, supportive spaces where everyone is treated with respect. For more workplace industry trends and also trends in the workplace, stay tuned to SOL Media. Bye.